Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Black Heights Livecast. And tonight we have a special guest. Named Mr. Jasper Knighten. Jasper is a service coordinator of one of the largest oil field service companies in the world, and that is Halliburton. You guys have heard of it. Halliburton is a big company. Jasper graduated with a Bachelor's of Science in Civil Engineering from Southern University in 2013. He also started at Halliburton in 2013 as a field operations professional working at Halliburton's deep water multi-zone completion systems. The guy works in the oil fields or for an oil company, right? Civil engineering, super smart, bright guy. Jasper was born in rural Louisiana. And I met Jasper through our Contact Us page and Black Heights on the Black Heights website, man. So let's do this as always. Let's make this show interactive. Guys, you know how we do it. Come on, ask questions, jump in. Let's have some fun tonight.
Yes.
And let's make Jasper feel at home, but also Jasper's going to tell you a little bit about himself, man. And first, we're going to start off with Jasper, man. Tell the people and everyone that's watching tonight how you doing, my brother. How are you doing, Jasper?
Man, I'm excited. I couldn't wait to come on the show. I couldn't sleep last night. Couldn't wait for work to be over with today. I'm just overwhelmed, excited to experiences. Also, just interact with you. The night's gonna be
Awesome, man. Awesome. We got some people in the chart already. Mrs. Tamara Wade is in the house. Tiffany Wade is in the house. What is up, everyone? Thank you so much for joining and supporting tonight. We're going to do this, man. Jasper is going to tell us a little bit more about himself. You know how we do this. We start off with a round of the lightning round, and we're going to be asking Jasper some questions to learn a little bit more about him. Jasper, ready for this, man? You ready for this and
I
that
am
round?
ready.
All right. Let me put it on the right screen. What am I doing here, man? I gotta get it on the right screen. All right, let's do that. Okay, we're on the right screen. Look at that. Gaming screen looking good right now. Let's get started.
Nice.
All right, sir, let's get started. Would you rather have a house in a busy city or a quiet rural area? You are from rural Louisiana.
Oh, house in a busy city all day.
Oh, so you're not looking to be in the country no more.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Awesome. Okay. Would you rather buy something you don't really need or have money for food?
Money for food. I like to eat.
Okay. Would you rather
I
hang
like
out
to eat.
at the beach or at the movies?
The beach.
Okay. Would you rather live one life that lasts 1,000 years or live 10 lives that last 100 years?
That's a deep one. Ooh, I, I think I like to go with the one life that lasts 1,000 years.
Okay. Awesome.
That's
All
a
right.
deep one though.
Yeah, it is. It
Very
is.
thought provoking. Very thought provoking.
Awesome. Okay. Would you rather go camping in the woods or stay at a five-star resort?
5-star resort all day.
All right. Okay. Would you rather go without your car or the internet for a month?
My car.
Okay. Wow. So you need the internet. You need the internet. I think we all do, man.
Oh yeah.
Uber has made it very convenient for us.
Oh man, has it ever?
Yes, sir. All right. Would you rather play tennis or ping pong?
I'm horrible at both, but I'll take ping pong over tennis.
Okay. Would you rather see a horror or a comedy movie?
Comedy movie all day.
Okay. Would you rather be hatefully remembered or forgotten?
Hatefully remembered.
That's making an impact right there, man. That's making an impact.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Would you rather vacation with your family or vacation by yourself?
Family.
Okay. Would you rather be a vegan or follow the paleo diet?
Whew, paleo.
Okay. Would you rather be a night owl or an early bird?
Early bird.
Okay. Would you rather spend 2 months living in a nursing home or spend 2 weeks eating only Taco Bell?
Nursing home.
Oh man, I love
I'll
it.
take it home over Taco Bell. I'm sorry, Taco Bell. I guess I ruined my chances for getting an endorsement one day. But yeah, I'll take the nursing home.
Oh man. All right, okay. Would you rather own a ski lodge or a surf camp?
The surf camp.
Okay. Would you rather ask for help or try to figure it out yourself?
That's a deep one. I'll ask for help,
Got it.
but
Got it.
that's
Yep.
after I really beat myself up and trying to figure it out myself.
I got it. Yep. That's an engineering, man. That's engineering mentality. Okay. Would you rather go to an amusement park or a family reunion?
Amusement park.
Okay. Would you rather?
Nothing against my family, but we can have a family reunion at the amusement park, you know?
I like I
Hey,
like how you did that, Jasper, because your family probably watching tonight, brother.
yes, look, please forgive me. I love y'all dearly. But look, we can have a family reunion at the amusement park. You know, this is the 21st century way of doing things, you know?
Okay. Okay. Would you rather work behind a desk or with your hands?
Man, behind the desk.
All right, last question, man. Last question.
Mhm.
Would you rather be a hard worker or a smart worker?
Smart.
Okay. All right. All right, guys. I think we all have a better understanding of who Jasper is, man. Wouldn't you guys think so? Yes. All right. Just like everyone who's
Nice.
in the house, we got Anton Walker in the house. What's up, my man? We got Wanda Knighten in the house. I'm sure that's family. We got Jared in the house.
That's my mom.
How you doing,
She
mom?
was listening to that family reunion question.
Oh, I'm sure she was. I am sure she was. So what we're doing over here is I'm going to be looking on the chat on this screen as well as off here to my left hand side. So if you guys see me looking off of here, I'm looking at chats, making sure I don't miss everything because my screen only sees a certain amount of chats. But we are already 8 minutes into the show, man. Jasper, tell us a little bit about yourself, my brother.
Man, where do I begin? Uh, First, I guess look, I'm very fortunate to be here. As my bio stated, I grew up in rural South Louisiana, St. Helena Parish to be exact. Very rural, family-oriented community.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Very good-hearted people. I grew up in the house with four women: my grandmother, my mom, and my sister, and my aunt from Shreveport would come down from time to time. Very religious background. I was in church most
Mm.
of my life growing up.
Yep.
Pentecostal background at that.
Mm.
So a lot of times we would start church at 7. We didn't get out till 1 a.m. So
Wow.
spent a lot of time in church. But the beautiful thing about growing up in that type of background, it taught me the importance of discipline.
Mm.
A lot of times we look at salvation as only being a spiritual aspect, but salvation is discipline in all areas of your life.
Mm.
What got me started on the engineering path was my great uncle, my grandmother's brother. He was a mechanical engineer. He grew up in the same area that I did. Uh, he graduated from the same high school, went to Southern University as well, and got a job with Douglas Aircraft and then eventually Boeing. And as a kid, I was always fascinated with him.
Mm.
He was so cool, so suave. He was the money man in the family. Everybody revered him, looked up to him. And as a kid, you are attracted to greatness and you're attracted to certain people. You don't even know why. I don't understand why.
Mm.
And after his death, he died my freshman year in high school, January of 2005.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have to say it was probably a turning point in my life because at that point is when something clicked in my mind. I said, hey, I don't want to disappoint him. I've always said I wanted to be like him. And at that point, I think that's when I started to understand the importance of having that positive mental image of yourself, getting a clear picture of where you want to go and who you want to be in life and what value you want to provide, not only to your friends and family, but to the world.
Mm.
So as a result of that, I end up graduating from high school. I graduated as valedictorian of my class. Went to Southern University, finished in civil engineering, got a job right out of school with Halliburton. And here we are today, 5.5 years later, 28 years old. It's been an amazing journey.
Man, that is a wonderful opening journey, my man. I mean, like, you are a young, positive brother. That's what really attracted me after you and I had a conversation earlier. So I want to just stay on that journey that you just told. Sorry. You grew up in rural Louisiana. You grew up in a house with four women. You had a positive role model in your surrounding areas with your uncle who was an engineer. You were attracted to that, and that reflection of what he was, attract your attention. You had a positive mental image of yourself, and you really want to, that positive image that you have of yourself is a reflection of the world, right? And I think you probably
Yes.
picked that up from being around a positive person like your uncle, right? And I think that's where you said you had that pivotal moment in your life. Talk. Let's take a couple of steps back. Like, how important was education growing up and within your family, my man?
Man, extremely important.
Mm,
Everyone in my family graduated from college.
wow.
I can remember for during the Christmas holidays, we would always have what's called a scholarship breakfast.
Okay.
And I guess kind of the prerequisite of the breakfast would be that you would have to be on the honor roll. You know,
Mm,
like I said earlier in my bio, I like to eat. So I always made sure that I was always on the honor roll, made sure that I would always be able to attend the breakfast. And more so than that, man, I never wanted to disappoint my family. I really value um, how they see me and what they think of me. And it's been that way since I've been a kid. In particular, my uncle, my mom, my grandmother, my sister, my aunt. Those were people who I really valued and never wanted to disappoint them.
mm.
And in the early age, I realized sports wasn't the way out for me. I knew that I had to put my head in and just drive through and apply myself. You know, I
So,
heard Robert Smith say something that he said that there is no limit on how much money you can earn when you use your mind.
mm,
And that's very profound. And once you realize that, hey, there isn't a cap on how much money you can earn when you continuously invest in your mind and in your education, you don't need any other thing to like motivate you to continue to get up every day and go after what you want to go after.
boy, that's so true. That is absolutely so true, man. Like, so why wasn't sports, and how did you realize early on, Jasper, that sports wasn't your way out? Like, obviously your family is highly intelligent. All of them graduated from college, so it was almost mandatory in your family that you had to do it, especially with having a mindset
Yes.
that you don't want to disappoint. Um, talk about why sports wasn't an area of focus for you early on.
I'll probably have to say it was sixth grade PE class. We were playing football in PE class, caught the ball. The next thing I know, I was looking up at the clouds and the sun. I made a conscious decision then that, hey, this isn't for me. This isn't the area that God has gifted me in. And I did not like the way I felt. So from that point forward, I knew, hey, look, it was in my best interest to like invest all of my time in my books.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I have to say sixth grade PE class, that was a turning point. And really, sports isn't the way out for me.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. No, that's that is a great story, man.
Oh, hey, I remember that one on my deathbed.
Well, I'm sure you will after getting the lights knocked out of you.
Ooh, man, it was bad. It was bad.
What's up, SOBC? Thank you for coming to the show, man. Let's get to the chat real fast for anybody who has any questions. Has the shows changed from Wednesdays to Monday now? No, SOBC. We are scheduling as people are available and working around the team's work schedule. So that's what it is. It's no changes. We're lining them up, my man. So let's jump over here, Jasper. Talk about you already talked about education and how it was important to your family, and not going the athletic route and really focusing on building your intelligence to make it within the world. Talk about like your field of study of engineering and why did you choose that field? You kind of talked about your uncle a bit, but kind of go a little bit deeper into that a bit.
Man, engineering for me, like I said, the biggest thing was my uncle from now on. I'll be honest, a lot of the driver was the type of life that I wanted, and I knew the price range that I wanted to live in. Hey, only a few fields would, afford me that type of opportunity. And engineering was one of them. I was never really too fascinated with the sciences and biology or becoming a doctor or a lawyer. So engineering and numbers and math, I was always good at. So besides my uncle, it was always engineering. I decided to take the civil path. I always needed bridges and roads and those sorts growing up. And that's what ended up seeing a path. Even though working in oil and gas, now all of my internships were with civil firms and with the Department of Transportation and Development.
Got it.
And I'll tell anybody out there, if given the opportunity, take the engineering route. It will be one that you won't regret.
Yep. So talk about how taking that engineering route led you to the field or the study that you're in or the field that you're in today, Jasper.
Man, actually, I really do believe that all of our lives are scripted. We're just simply lead actors acting out a script that has been given to us either by God or whoever you choose to look at as being the creator of life in the universe. My senior, I graduated May of 2013. I was actually intern at a civil engineering firm in Baton Rouge. And Halloween came back to do a informational session at my school. They were looking to hire 5 to 6 engineers to come in and work in this kind of trial type program that they were setting up for engineers to work in deep water completions in this industry.
Okay.
I said, you know what? Hey, why not? So I went to the informational, the opportunities and the information that was presented. So I signed up and I interviewed. First round of interviews went well. After that, they invited me down to where I work now for a site visit. And a month later, they sent me an offer letter, and the rest has been history. And it is one that I don't regret. And it's going back to piggyback on my opening statement, where I said that I think that, all of our lives have been scripted and we're just acting out roles. There's no doubt in my mind that all of this was destiny and it was meant to happen.
And talk about that, Jasper, because I think that's deep, brother. Like, it's almost as if like we have an opportunity within our lives to live the movie that was destined for us, right? And for the people to push themselves and go down certain paths, that movie is actually playing out, based on how we live our lives. Why do you believe that our lives are scripted? Talk about that just a bit.
Man, to be honest with you,
that's deep. I love it.
It is. To be honest with you, it's almost hard to put into words.
Yeah.
I really feel that you asked me the question earlier about do I like comedy movies or horror movies. I feel as people, you had an opportunity to either be the lead actor in a horror movie or the lead actor in a comedy movie. But the comedy movie represents success.
Yep.
So ultimately, it's up to you. You control your own destiny. Um, just like actors go and apply for scripts and roles in Hollywood, that's simply all we're doing every day of our lives. We're going and we're re-auditioning every day. Hey, which role am I going to take? Am I going to be the hero or am I going to be the villain? It's ultimately up to us, but it all starts, as I said earlier, with that positive mental image
Mm.
yourself
Wow,
and
man.
taking responsibility for the actions that happen in your life.
No, that's amazing, man. I love it. I love it. You know, Wanda said that's a true story. Catching up on the chats. Wyona said very inspiring. And Rob Knighten said awesome, man. Tommy, what's up, my brother? How you doing, man? Tommy said I grew up very similar to Jasper. How do you currently implement those rural South, somewhat conservative, spirit-based principles in your niche market that may not always align with those principles? Man, that's a deep question, Tommy.
It is. I actually like that. Man, I like Tommy. Golly, that's a very good question.
Tommy's a great dude.
Yeah, he's put me on the spot tonight. I like him.
Ooh, that's what we do, brother.
Yeah, hey, I like that. Man, great question. Man, to be honest, and it's something I've really realized and I've been honing in on the past year, and that's realizing, understanding, and accepting the fact, and it's something that we don't do a lot of the times in the African American community,
Mm.
is understanding the importance of sales.
Mm.
You are a salesman, whether you realize it or not. So you have to learn that every day when you go into the marketplace, even though you work for a company, you're ultimately selling yourself and you're selling your brand.
Mm.
And who's ultimately going to buy your product and brand are the people who's in need of what you're offering.
Mm.
So a lot of my success has been attributed to me just connecting with people who are in need of what I'm offering, whether that's through my performance, personality, or what have you. You just have to learn to always be yourself, but also learn to be yourself and play within the rules of the system in your industry and the company that you work for.
Mm. 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 No, man, I love it. Stay authentic, man, and play within the
Yeah.
rules of the system, right? Corporate America
Hey,
is a system. I tell people this
it
all the
is.
time, and I made a video about this, about corporate America being a game, and you know, a lot of things that I talk about within that video, Jasper, is the fact
Mhm.
that we're all in sales, and
Yes,
within this game there are rules, and you have to know how to play those rules. Or
most
who
definitely.
and you can manipulate those rules to get to
Yeah,
where you need to be and have the financial success or whatever the
yeah,
power, whatever it is that's the success that you really want to have. You can do that by knowing the rules of the game. And I
yeah,
would say that in order for you to get to, the start winning that game, you have to be authentic, and
yeah.
that's an important role. So talk
Oh yeah.
about that. Talk about authenticity, man. Like you're learning, you've learned that, Jasper, at such a young age. Talk about the importance of being authentic.
I'm glad we're still standing on this topic because I wanted to reiterate something
Yeah.
that I realized too. Nobody can ever beat you at being you.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
You are the only you that will ever walk the face of this earth. So you owe everyone that's occupying this earth and this space and time the best version of yourself. You are not only doing yourself a disservice, but you're doing everybody else a disservice.
Mm.
So it's in everybody's best interest that you offer up the best version of who you are. And
Absolutely.
in return, look, life is going to give you back a multitude of rewards for doing so.
Mm. Mm. And talk about this, right, Jasper? And I know I keep flipping back and forth, but you know, as becoming authentic in yourself is knowing who you are as a person and knowing what you stand for and having these values. But one important part of that, especially in corporate America, because we always talk about like the law of attraction. The people that you hang around with are more likely the people that you become. And for a lot
Yes,
of African Americans in the corporate world, we don't necessarily see our kinds and the positions that we want to be in. So a lot of
yes,
us emulate things that aren't us, which really uh, 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 removes that level of authenticity. Talk about the
Yes.
power of having such a uncle that you had in your life early on that kind of molded you to become more authentic and comfortable with yourself, but also you having that example in your life to emulate early on. Talk about that.
Yes. I think it's important, especially when you're young, because you don't understand at that age of the importance of having that positive mental image of yourself.
Mm,
So if you can see someone physically doing something at a young age, it gives you this deep seated belief that, hey, I can do this. They
mm,
did it. It's possible for me as well. And that's why it's so important for each of us, no matter the arena of life we're in, to always strive to get to the top,
mm,
because there's somebody's life that's attached to our lives.
mm. It's not just
Hmm.
for us. It is not for us. It's for the others as well and what we're leaving
It's
behind.
not. Yeah.
Mm, mm. I love it, man. I love it. I love it. Okay, okay. I got to get to guys. The chat is everybody's watching. We got about 18 people watching, and that's just on YouTube itself, right? Man, we're live, guys.
Nice.
Ask questions. I know I haven't gotten into it. So Jasper, talk about what a service coordinator is, my brother, and the work that you do at Halliburton. Maybe that'll spawn some questions since it is around the theme of
Yes.
project management, service coordinator. Talk about that piece of it.
Nice. Nice. So, service coordinator is a position and term that they use within Halliburton and pretty much any service company for describing a project management role.
Okay.
I'm responsible for the financials, responsible for manufacturing, logistics, and the overseeing the offshore operations of deep water completions offshore in the deep water Gulf of Mexico.
Okay.
Many of these completions that we do, we're working at 30, 31,000 feet, 250-degree temperatures. Wells are well within and over the $500 million range to complete. So it's a lot of money at stake. A lot of people like to say that the industry is dangerous. I don't like to look at it that way, I guess, because I work in the industry,
Yeah.
and I understand all of the safeguards that they have in place. Everything offshore nowadays, ain't even on land, is very well scripted, very well thought out. A lot of the procedure reviews that we do, a million pairs of eyes look them over. They get their blessings from many of the high ups in organizations before any task are undertaken. But that's pretty much it, man. I'm just pretty. I like to think of myself as the chief of staff.
Okay.
A lot of times when I introduce myself, I tell people, "Hey, I'm a chief of staff. I'm a secretary." It's pretty much just pretty much setting the tone for a lot of different facets and areas of our business.
Awesome. Awesome. And typically, when you're in a role like this, how fast coming into a company can you get to that, service coordinator role? Because, a project management role, a lot of the times, is a more mid-level to senior level role within a lot of corporations, right? Talk about your journey to
Yeah.
getting to that role so fast and having such a broad role within your company so early.
And like I said, it's all destiny. I think at the end of the day, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a lot of the people that sacrificed and spoke up for me and invested in me when I first started my career at Halliburton.
Mm,
I've had a lot of great mentors who've
mm,
taken me under their wings, shown me the rope, and given me the opportunity. And in doing so, I didn't disappoint. And as a result, opportunities presented themselves. With this role here, when I first found out I was getting it, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was scared out of my mind. I actually went home that night and I pondered hard. I said, well, this is make or break for me here, because at that time they didn't have any other African Americans in that role, um, and the position that I was transitioning from and into this role, I would say I wasn't adequately prepared. So it
okay.
was a steep learning curve the first 6 months.
Yep.
A lot of stressful days. I mean, there's still a lot of stressful days, but I conquered. I mean, a lot of that goes back to the way I was brought up in my upbringing, just being persistent, keeping that positive mental image of yourself. One thing that I would like to pass on to everybody that's listening and to people who may see this later is that failures are your biggest gifts and blessings. I've learned more from the days that I've done things right, from the days more so than I have gotten things right. And a lot of that too goes back to, especially in our community, the African American community, we look at failure as being a negative thing, a negative connotation. And that's kind of a impoverished mindset. We gotta start to drive the narrative and flip the way that we look at failure and see it as a positive and a blessing in disguise.
Well, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Anton Walker said so true. My boy Billy Rowe, what is up, my brother? Thank you for joining us tonight. Rob Knighten said, yes, sir.
Billy Rowe.
You said a couple of things, Jasper. You talked about mentors. You're talking about being persistent. You're talking about, being scared to be in a role. And something that you said earlier, man, is wanting to be at the top. I personally think that the more of us, whether we're in corporate America or any other parts of our life, the best or the level of dedication that we commit to being to the top is only going to help us, especially in corporate America, with diversity, because then you can start to promote people because you have the ability to do so. You're in a role where budgets are yours. You're in a role where you own the responsibility for the organization, and you only get that level of control by being at a certain level in a certain role. And a lot of that, we aren't prepared to do that, but neither is anybody else, right?
Yes.
So part of that is getting outside of your comfort zone, doing things that you will potentially fail at, but also looking at it as an opportunity to learn and grow, right? You use that example of failures are our biggest gifts and blessings. I love that, man. I love that, man. Talk about why. Talk about why.
I never seem to remember all of the days when I got everything right. The days that I remember most and that have had the biggest impacts in my life, this is outside of just work in my career, it's been the days when I fail, because that has afforded me the opportunities to learn the most. And those failures a lot of times are not just for me. I'm afforded the opportunity to share those with somebody else. That way they can save time and not make the same mistakes that I made and go a little farther than I've gone. So, and look, it's taken me a while to get here. Like I said, life has been a continuous journey. And each day I'm constantly reminding myself, hey, got to have a positive mindset, positive mental image of yourself. Don't see failure as being a negative. This is a positive. And see everything that happens in your life as a gift. When you start to realize that nothing in life can happen to you that's bad, life takes on a whole different journey. Once you realize that everything that happens in life is a gift from God, whether that's death, that's loss, or divorce. I hadn't been divorced, but anything that has been painted as being bad, once you start to see, hey, this is a positive, there isn't nothing in life that you can't accomplish. A lot of times in our community, we take the woe is me approach to life. Somebody has their foot on our head or our neck. But we got to realize that we have to harness that power that's deep within and take control and take responsibility for our lives and ultimately take what's ours. It's not having an entitlement mentality, but knowing, hey, it's meant for you to be at the top, meant for you to have the best.
Yes. And compete. And a lot of that is competition and wanting to compete and not being afraid to lose, right? Because eventually you're going to figure it out. It's kind of like the first time you've been, playing tennis or whatever sport that you ever played or whatever game that you played. A lot of the times, a lot of us aren't prepared to win the first time we enter the game. But as you
Hmm.
continue to play, right, you learn the
Yes.
rules, then you figure it out, then you see the shortcuts, then the things that you
Yeah.
can do in order for you to position yourself to be in the competition to win and to exploit,
Yeah.
some of the rules that are within the game because that's where others are doing too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, piggybacking on what you're saying right now, it just made me think about something else you have to learn to do is be in control of your emotions.
Mm, EQ.
Um, yes, I was about. Hey, emotional intelligence is extremely important, and that's something that's not stressed and taught a lot in our communities. I think a lot of times we're very impulsive, like we react to things instead of like thinking things through. You can't win if you're angry and you're investing all of your emotional energy into negative thoughts and feelings. You have to continuously invest all of your thoughts and your energy towards winning and strategy and competing.
Mm, mm, mm. I like that, and we're going to get into that deeper too, because that is very interesting, and that is a huge piece of being a leader, but also at the same time being a person that can handle stress within the workplace. So let's do this. Let's jump to the chats. We're getting a lot of people talking in here, leaving some feedback. Shirley, what's up, Shirley? How are you doing? Um, this is Miss Henry right here, and we also got. She said very true regarding the failures that you talked about. Wyona said failures are positive steps to our success. Miss Tiffany Wade said, failure can be used as a learning lesson. Absolutely. Shirley then commented and said, real issue is being black and failing, isn't it? Because when I fail, I fall very far, if not all the way to the bottom, and sometimes can never get back to where I came from or further. That is interesting. That is very interesting, Shirley. Um, that is very interesting. Um, I yes, that's a comment and a question. Jasper, you wanna give that any thought, any further thought?
Hey, let's read it one more time.
No. So, um, what Shirley said, she said the real issue is being black and failing, isn't it? Because when I fail, I fall very far, if not all the way to the bottom, and sometimes can never get back to where I came from or further.
I like to push back against it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it goes back to what I said about as a race, and it's not a race. To be honest, I found a lot of people who miss the mark in life. It's a cultural issue. It just goes back to the belief you have in yourself. Because one thing I'm finding, successful people have as many failures and setbacks as people who are not as successful. But the key is the successful people continuously got up, no matter how many times they were knocked down.
And
Now, look, I'm an eternal optimist, so I may sound a little naive right now, but I like to push back against it.
that's interesting that you did that, Jasper, because one thing that I've learned from the people who have been in positions, and we were all successful in our lives, right? So success is a really broad term, but from the people who are entrepreneurs and people who I've had on the show, um, we all have had major setbacks sometimes in our lives, right? It is about getting up and doing it over again. If you talk to, I don't know, if you read Jeff Bezos, biography or Mark Zuckerberg and all those guys, right? The common theme is that many of them have failed. Now, don't get me wrong; a lot of people have financial an opportunity to bounce back financially versus some, right?
Oh
Because of the
yeah,
position that
yeah,
they're in. But there's something that is very much there is that they're persistent, and the persistence is really what's going to cause you to say, you know what, it wasn't a failure. I'm going to get back up. We're going to give this a go again. I've learned something during that, and start that over again, whatever that process is, so that you can move forward. You know what I mean?
yes.
So, very very good point there. Thank you for that too, Shirley. Mr. Walker said, write a book full of those quotes a lot of people need to hear them. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Shirley then said, we have very little room to fail, especially if you're the first or the difference maker in your family. That is a good point. That is a very good point. Hi, Mom. How are you? That is a very good point, right? But what I would say to that is failure is giving up, I would say. And no matter
Yes.
what position that you're in, right, you're going to have some setbacks, whether it's in, relationships, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's in, if you play sports or whatever it is, there's always going to be some sort of setbacks, and it could be seen as a failure. It's a mentality shift to
Yeah.
kind of turn that failure into something that you can learn from to move on and to get better at whatever it is that you failed at that initial time. I think that's a mentality thing.
Yeah.
Um, let's
Let
go.
me add something to that too,
Absolutely.
Antoine. I heard a quote recently too. It said life happens twice. First in your mind and then in real life.
Mm,
And it goes back to what I've been saying. It's all about the story that you're telling yourself on a daily basis.
mm,
You
mm,
know,
mm.
if you keep this positive story in your mind, no matter what it looks like on the outside, eventually life has to give you what you want.
Mm,
But the
mm,
key is you can't give up.
mm.
You gotta be persistent.
That is so very true, man. That is so very true. I'm proud to have you on, brother.
Hey
You were
man,
dropping
glad
some
to be here.
gems tonight, man. SOBC said, that's right. Nobody likes to deal with an angry employee. Absolutely. Mr. TV, the exploration and maturation of renewable energy sources seems to be a common topic with the administration. How is Halliburton responding to these shifts in the energy industry? Ooh, my man Tommy, he's getting all up in the career. He's getting you. He's getting you.
Man, you see that, huh? He's trying to. I'm gonna have the political answer.
That's how you prepare to be an executive, right? You gotta
Oh,
be.
most definitely. Hey, Halliburton is an oil field service company. So at the end of the day, we're not in the net. We have a value prop, and it says that we customize and engineer solutions to maximize asset values for our customers. So ultimately, as the industry changes, Halliburton ultimately changes.
Mm,
But a lot of that is driven by what our customers are doing. We're a service company at the end of the day. A lot of our customers are making strides towards moving towards more renewable energy sources.
yep.
But at the end of the day, remember, we're in business to make money. It's about the bottom line at the end of the day.
Mm,
But Halliburton is at the forefront of always being a industry leader and always being the first in making the right decisions and in steering the conversation and leading us in the right direction.
yes. 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 You got that, Mr. TV? Yes, sir. All right.
Hey,
Mr.
where's my follow-up question? Mr. T.
Or you're going to get a follow-up question. Dark Man Jeff, what's up, my brother? What's good? Wanda says, we have often heard it said that success is failure turned inside out. Absolutely. And it's your narrative of how you talked about that failure. Somebody's failure, as in I fell off the bike, could be turned into, I was riding the bike and I stayed on it, although I stumbled, right? It's that narrative that
Yeah,
you put out there for everyone to hear, but also for you to have it in your mind that it isn't actually a failure.
that's it.
Tamara Wade said, your setback is your greatest comeback. Mr. Knighten said, one of Jasper's quotes, failure is for today, quitting is for a lifetime. Ooh, boy, I like
Nice.
it, man. Rob, very proud of you, nephew. Can't nobody beat you at being you authentic. No, that's absolutely true. I'm over here sweating, man. I got these bright lights on me right now, and it's warm in this kitchen in this great, beautiful, sunny California day. Um,
Oh
let's talk about
man,
this. Let's talk about the three most important things you need to be a service coordinator, Jasper. I want to jump back into the theme of the questions of the live cast. What are talk about if anybody watching this who isn't in the oil and gas industry or the service industry, however you want to call it, or one in getting the project management. Talk about the three most important things they need to have to prepare for such a lucrative career?
Mm, this doesn't only apply to the oil and gas industry. This applies to any industry, and I've been able to use it in my industry, and it's applicable. And it's a term that I've coined recently. It's actually picking back off of AARP, the company. The first two, the second one appearance, the offer relationship, and the fourth one for performance.
Mm.
I think that's important not only in the oil and gas industry, but in any industry. You definitely need to have the right attitude, need to dress the part, develop those relationships, and most importantly, the last one, you need to perform.
Mm.
I would definitely advise and highly encourage anyone to get an engineering degree or some STEM degree because it's critical. Your first few roles in, you will be in a technical role, and after that, you will eventually move into more frontline manager roles, and after that, more mid-level management roles and executive positions. But ultimately, man, you in control of your career. Do what makes you happy and what makes you content, and what drives you and what gives you fuels your passion and your fire.
Mm. Mm. Talk about so you said AARP. I got the attitude. What was the second A, Jasper?
Appearance.
Appearance. Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, ooh, ooh.
Oh
I love
yeah.
it, man. I love it. Relationships, and then you have to be able to perform.
Performance.
Got it.
Oh
Got it.
yeah. And that's the big one there.
Um, let's jump over to, boy. I think we can literally talk for about 2 hours tonight. Um,
Hey, I got my water right here, so
no, no. Of course, the live cast, that's a long time, but boy,
yeah.
it can certainly go that long. Let's do a quick shift.
Okay.
Let's talk about what your experience is with diversity initiatives.
Man, that's a great question. Currently, I am what's called the H2CM champion in my region at my company. And what the HCM stands for, How the Country Manager.
Okay.
And so what we've tried to do in my company is create a pool of high potential, high performing employees, allows us when positions come available, not only in our region but company, we have a pool of people that we can pick from and put them in those type of positions. H2CM has been very instrumental in helping with diversity. One big push we've been doing, and it's not normal in the energy industry. We've been hiring a lot of females, a lot of women.
Yep.
And I actually think it's been great. I know some people may feel otherwise, but it's been great. There are a lot of talented women out there. And I think Halliburton is going to go to the next level, not only Halliburton, but our industry as a whole. Um, in terms of diversity, too, I don't necessarily look at diversity in terms of race.
Yep.
I see diversity in terms of thought.
Okay.
Um, a lot of times we key in on diversity and we look at it only in terms of race and skin color. But if you dig deep, it really boils down to diversity and thought.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something we really need to push for because even in the African American community, we may all look alike, but we're all operating on different frequencies and different levels.
Yes.
So I think it's important that we start to drive the conversation in that regard in terms of the way we look at diversity.
That's a good point. That is a very good point. Um, Tommy Venisi said Georgia Tech EMBA recruit. Oh, we Jasper. If you want to be a techie, if you want to be a yellow jacket, we got you, man. We
Hey,
got
I
you
love
absolutely.
Atlanta, so we'll talk after this.
Okay. Let me clear my throat. Wow. Tiffany Wade said, going back to starting your position as a service coordinator at Halliburton, you mentioned that you were afraid and may have felt unequipped for your role. Talk about that, because we always, taking a position. I have to say for myself, especially in corporate America, I've been in positions no longer than 3 years, because I've always been looking to do something else and grow and learn and things like that. And you're never equipped to go into a lot of these roles. It's not like the company just says,
No.
here's a bunch of training. We're going to do this. I'm going to prepare you for a manager, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
That's one reason why Black Heights exists, to give people a leg up
Mhm.
and what to start to prepare for, especially in management and leadership roles. But a
Yeah.
lot of times we're all unequipped. Talk about how you've had to learn by just putting yourself into that positioning and learning in the role.
Yeah. I think for us as a culture and people, a lot of times we're afraid to ask questions.
Mm,
We're we're worried about somebody thinking we don't know. We don't want to look like we're ill prepared.
mm,
But at the end of the day, you have to ask questions in order to perform. Um, and I honestly say this role is the one role that has really pushed me. You have to find those people that you can reach out to and feel comfortable with. Hey, man, look, I need help with this. And there are people out there who want you to perform because, look, your success is the company's success,
mm,
and the
mm.
company's success is your success. So the more you invest in learning your role, the better it is for everybody. And I saw a question in the chat about how long did it take me to be confident in my position.
Yep.
It's actually a great question. It depends on what day of the week it is, you know. Some days I feel like some days I feel like I've mastered it, and then other days I leave like, man, I really don't know. But look, confidence, you have to always begin with the end in mind. When I took the role, I saw the next role that I wanted to move to. So I knew that I needed to perform at a high level. I knew that I needed to execute. And on those days, I feel like, hey, look, it's stressful, I'm frustrated. I always keep that in mind.
No, that's great, man. That is great. You got another question in the chat too, man. You got two more. Um,
Uh-oh.
SOBC said, "How old is Jasper, man?"
Ooh. Hey, take a guess. Take a guess.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to give it out, man. He doesn't want to give it out. Okay.
Yeah, but no, I'm 28. I'm 28.
Awesome, 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 man.
Yeah.
You see, we have young, talented individuals from around the world doing some wonderful things, and that's that positive example that Black Heights represents. Um,
Yes.
let's go to one more other question that's in the chat. Mr. Venisi said, "What is one piece of advice current Halliburton Jasper would tell younger, rural LA Jasper?" Ooh.
I like that. I would have to say, don't worry,
Mm,
don't stress. It's gonna all work out. I found I'm very impatient, so a lot of times I kind of want to push the envelope. I want things to happen in my timing. But like I said, we're just simply lead actors in a movie, and we're in the lead role. So the script, the timing, all of that has already been out.
mm,
All you need to do is just go in and execute,
mm.
and everything else is gonna fall into line.
Yep, yep, yep. Very good, very good. Um, let's talk about Black Heights and what your thoughts are on Black Heights and this initiative. So, and also tell a story, Jasper, about how you came across Black Heights, because I want to hear that from myself too, and then your experience with it as well too, man.
Yeah, yeah, man. Just I'm very inquisitive. I'm always trying to learn, and I've just been having this zest lately for learning about climbing the corporate ladder. Just trying to seek and learn all the advice that I can possibly learn. I mean, I was on YouTube one day and I ran across your channel, and dude, I was blown away. Blown away. We need more of this, especially for our culture and especially for the millennial generation.
Mm,
Um, I know right now we're in this space where being an entrepreneur is what's hot. It's the next big thing. But there is an abundance of opportunity in corporate America.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, we owe a debt of gratitude to the people that came before us, and we owe it to the people that's coming after us to be able to provide opportunities for them. And Black Heights is going to make the opportunities that will be available in the future that much greater.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, look, I just want to tell you thank you personally. It's been a blessing to me, and I know it's been a blessing to everyone else as well.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day and your work schedule and joining us on this live cast tonight, man, and really sharing your experience with the world, Jasper. I mean, like, it was something after that conversation that I had with you, and that you reached out and you and I had spoken. I was like, um, this guy is special. Like, this guy is special, right? So I, saw that, and I was like, I gotta have him on the show to tell a story. We're gonna be able to work
Yeah, yeah.
together, and it's absolutely fantastic, man. So thank you for joining the show and sharing it with the audience of Black Heights and the world. Let's talk about this. We're getting towards the end of the live cast, but talk about how do you balance work life and family, my man.
Man, that is a great question. I actually struggle at that. I actually do. But I will say the one constant that I have been able to do and keep in place is my morning routine. I value my time in the mornings, going to the gym,
Mm,
my ride on the way to work. I take that time in the mornings to meditate, finish up on whatever books I'm listening to, and just to get in a good headspace and get primed for the day. There's a lot of times we don't realize when we work to get to a certain place, you need to bring a certain level of energy, attitude to the workplace.
mm,
Um, and to piggyback on that, I've actually set up a meeting with my team at work, and in order to try to infuse that energy into my team, I actually coined the term the Monday morning quarterback, just to set the tone on Mondays and for the rest of the week.
mm,
And a lot of that was due to the fact of a statistic that I heard Les Brown give. He said most people had a first heart attack on Monday morning before 9 o'clock because
mm.
people going to jobs that they literally hate. But to be honest, we all have wonderful jobs, but we don't see the value in them.
Mm,
And we don't see the fact that, hey, if we invest in this job, the job will invest back in us.
mhm,
It's all a two-way street. But to piggyback on the question about me having balance, that's something that I struggle with. But the one thing that I have done to make sure that I'm always ready for my work day is ensure that I have a morning routine. And it consists of going to the gym, eating a balanced breakfast, and listening to a book or some type of speech on YouTube to just get me in a good mental space for the day.
mm, mm, mm. No, that's it. That's it's important. It's
Yes.
Jasper. You're saying a lot of things, man, that I just believe in. Appearance,
Mhm.
attitude, energy, emotional intelligence, all of that.
Oh, yeah.
It's very important. Like, and that is what continues to make us attractive people individually. That's what
Yes.
makes other people attractive within their lives as well too. It's what I believe in, and it's what I've done throughout my corporate career, and have had a lot of success. And with other individuals that have been on this channel have said the exact same thing. So there's a repetitive
Yes.
theme behind it, and you're getting that live from people who are excelling within their career within corporate America. That's making a big difference, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Yes.
if there was three things that we talked about a lot, right? We talked
Mhm.
about a lot. If
We
there was
have.
three things that you want to resonate with the folks who are watching the show, um, what are those three things, Jasper, based on our conversation
Man,
tonight?
great question. I have to say the first one to definitely be have a clear picture of where you want to go and who you want to be in life.
Mm.
That would definitely be the first one. It's important. Many times you're gonna develop relationships with people, get invited into certain circles, and they may want to mold you into this certain type of person, but that's not who you want to be. That's not the picture of who you have of yourself, and you know that's not where your destiny is tied to. So I think that's important. Because a lot of times you become discontent and frustrated with life when you end up bending to the rules and ideas that other people have of who you should be and how you should act. So I would say definitely a clear picture of who you are and where you want to go.
Mm.
The second would be having a positive mental image of yourself, and I reiterated that throughout the entire
Yep.
interview. This one is probably the most important of the three. You have to constantly wake up. When I wake up every morning, I have some affirmations that I say to myself. It's just a constant reminder to me of who I am.
Mm.
And it's not something that you're going to get and you're going to be set for life. You have to do this on a daily basis. Constantly have a positive mental image of who you are and where you're going.
Mm.
And the third one I have to say is just make sure that you're in an environment that's conducive for growth.
Mm.
Um, One thing that I've consciously tried to do is ensure that if there are negative people around me, limit my actions with them.
Mm.
Life is too short. You have to realize that you are a gift and you have to protect your gift, protect who you are. And anybody that's contrary and goes against who you are and where you're trying to go, don't necessarily cut them off, but limit your time with them
Mm.
because they're not helping to push you forward and help you get to where you want to go.
Brother, you are speaking, man. Let me just reiterate that, guys. That is, have a clear picture of where you want to go and who you want to be within your life. Number two, have a positive image of yourself. And number three, be in an environment that's conducive for growth, right? Be in an environment where you have the opportunity to grow and put yourself in these
Yes,
environments. If you're not in those environments, shift your environment. I talk about
yes,
moving around a lot because I move around quite a bit. And
yeah, yeah,
a lot of it, people may say, "Whoa, your job is controlling you." No, it's not. It's my choice so that I can get to where I need to get within my life, and that's about putting myself in an environment for growth. And when you
yes,
move, you're growing. When you're moving
yes.
around, you're growing, right? So that's my philosophy as well, my man. Let's jump over to the chat. Darkman Jeff says, "I'm 32 and I don't think I've made it enough strides in my career." That's an interesting thought, Jeff. You come talk to us at Black Heights, and we can see how we can help out on that, and see how we can help you get to where you want to and where you are making the strides that you want to make. Also,
Yes.
SOBC said millennials are killing is big time in my industry. Yeah, absolutely, man. I run across a lot of millennials, and a lot of us are doing some really awesome things. I'm actually a millennial myself, if you know.
Oh, nice, nice.
So,
Hey, hey, and to piggyback on that, I'm glad that you made that statement because I feel a lot of times our generation gets a bad rep. They say we're entitled, we're lazy,
yeah,
we want everything given to us. And I don't agree with that. I guess maybe because that's not my environment, that's not what I'm exposed to, but I see a lot of millennials getting up every day.
I would agree. I would agree. I
Yeah.
see a lot of millennials doing some really wonderful things and positive things within around the world. So,
Yes.
I think that's just the U.S. media shifting narratives. I think
Oh, yeah.
everybody was in the same place that we were in our lives at some point in times in their lives as well too, right? So we were
Most definitely.
categorizing, putting us in buckets, saying this and that. I don't think it's any difference. I think we all have the same sort of struggles depending on our age in life, man. So,
Yes.
but
I
but
agree.
you're absolutely right. The millennials, if you put us in a box and categorize us, I think a lot of us are doing some very wonderful things. And Miss Wanda says, "I would like to say thanks to my son for remembering his rearing, keeping God first and letting him direct his path and finally helping others along the way, man." Absolutely, man. We are so thankful to have your son on our show tonight. Very, very very, very good live cast, Jasper. Let's do this, man. Is there anything else you want to say to the folks while we're still live, my man? I can only say this, man. Thank you so much for coming on the platform tonight, sharing your story, talking, about your tips for success, and
Yes.
just being that positive energy that we need
Yes.
to show in the professional world, man. Anything else you want to say, my man?
Yes. Man, just go be great. The world is yours. There isn't anything we can't accomplish. Take it
Absolutely.
one day at a time.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Absolutely.
thank you again, Antoine Treat.
Very, very, you're invited anytime, my brother. Anytime. We're gonna have to get you on the show to give us some more of that game as well, too, my man. TV, thank you so
Hey,
much for
bye.
joining and coming in tonight. Nicole, Wyona, Tiffany, guys, everybody else from the chat who's been watching that continue to come on the show and support. Thank you so much for your time. And until next time, guys, peace.
Nice.